most visceral part was it being thrown into the harbour. That's what really got me. Port cities are the places most well known in the UK for slavery. Middle Passage is that part where the enslaved Africans were taken from the West Coast over to the Americas. The Atlantic Ocean, the Middle Passage, has claimed so many lives. Edward Colston is almost like being returned to that. He's being sent into a watery grave.
The consequence of slavery is racism. The killing of George Floyd was racism. And that, I understand, would trigger off the reaction about the statue, because they've been protesting a long time.
The statue of Edward Colston in Bristol is just one of many dedicated to white men who were involved in the UK's slave trade. Cities all over the country have profited from slavery, with the money building houses, schools, streets and hospitals.
People think it's hyperbole when we say it's built into every brick of the nation, but it's not.
The roads you're walking on is a product of slavery. What those men did, like Coulson, is not removable.
This is the statue of William Gladstone. He was the son of a slave owner and opposed to abolishing slavery. He was also a 4-time British Prime Minister. Just this one man has statues in Manchester, London, Liverpool, Bolton, Edinburgh, Glasgow and Harden, a small village in Wales. There are also numerous schools, a library, a university hall and streets all over the country bearing that name.
Statues have so much power, right? What does it mean to carve someone's likeness? What does it mean to take time to look at someone's visage and all the power and thought? People automatically see someone literally on a pedestal and they think one thing. We need to somehow break down that barrier and have people think of someone on a statue might not be good.
Sir Geoff Palmer has been campaigning for a plaque to be put on this statue of a man called Henry Dundas in Edinburgh for 13 years.
So Wilberforce put up the bill that the slave trade should be immediately abolished. 1792, Henry Dundas put down an amendment to say it will be gradually abolished. And that allowed the slave trade to continue from 1792 to 1807, 15 years. And I've calculated that in 15 years, 630,000 black people were moved into slavery on one word: gradual. The original plaque, nothing about slavery. And I said that must be on the plaque.
There are some statues that are, some acts that are so horrific that they need to go and in their place something completely new. In other cases, I think there are times when we can use those monuments as an educational tool. But I also am very much aware that we also need to balance educating with the trauma and hurt that it can cause people. Somehow the onus on educating people on racism and on the effects of slavery and colonialism always falls on those who are the oppressed.
I would not support a consistent policy of removing everything that relates to slavery. I want improvements for black people in the country. I want improvements in education. I want this history to go in the curriculum, to be there to change attitudes.
In some ways, plaque is not enough. We literally need to break down our original thinking of these kind of monuments and start from scratch, which is easier said than done.